Oh yeah, we got him. Trey Frazier and Maestro Styles, you know we got one. Right back like we left some. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.
What up, folks? Welcome back. It's a brand new episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We are streaming live on the Facebook page, also the YouTube channel, Twitch, on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2, and also on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. It's your boy Trey Frazier in the building. Got the homie Maestro Styles with me this week.
Yes, sir.
What's popping, man? How's your weekend go?
In between coughing up phlegm all weekend, and recording, and obviously the Super Bowl, I'm good, man. I can't complain, man. I can't complain. How about you?
Oh, I'm good, man. We had a 40-degree day today.
Yeah, thank God.
That's what I like to see.
I was thankful for a 40-degree day, man. I was telling somebody earlier today, like, man, today was better than yesterday, that's for sure.
Oh, look like Maestro froze there for a minute, but basically saying all was good.
Who's connection? Yeah, everything's good, bro.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't. You kind of glitched right there
Okay.
for a minute, but I think we good now. I think we good now. I was actually shoveling my walkway to the front door this afternoon because it was just nothing but ice from a couple weeks ago. Now that we got the nice day today, I was able to, get rid of it, clear the pathway and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
now we can get DoorDash deliveries, we can get all kinds of, Amazon stuff now. She don't have to worry about dudes tripping just to drop stuff off. But
Yeah, man.
yeah. Good stuff, man. Good stuff this week, man. Yeah, we got a Super Bowl to recap for sure. And we got a guest that's gonna help us do that this week. Mykell Ramos with the podcast called Rollin With Ramos. It's a sports podcast, and I was going through some archives, Maestro. I was going all the way back to 2022. I want to say so. She was on the podcast previously, but you had to miss that week because of
Yeah,
something, and I
I
couldn't
remember.
remember what. But yeah, she's back. She went to go work for ESPN for a couple of years up in Connecticut, doing some video editing and and all that stuff. Behind the scenes, the Sports Center and all that stuff. So we'll kind of talk about her experience a little bit, as well as get her thoughts on everything Super Bowl 60 related. So which depending on who you are, depending on how you feel about the game, little bit boring of a game at first. But I think clearly we figured the Seattle Seahawks were the better team on the field. I mean, it was clear from the first snap of the game, in
I
my opinion.
mean, to be honest with you, it was clear once the Super Bowl teams were determined to me. So I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
like again, like first of all, no shade to the New England Patriots. Congratulations, and I guess Drake May is Drake May. Like the year two is not a whole bunch of nothing to put into it. I think um I think we knew what this was. I mean, you had been saying it all playoffs. Like they had an easy run to the Super Bowl, and
hmm
that's not to take anything from them. It's just that this team wasn't. This team may not be as good as the record may suggest. And you take it, you take every win. How else do you, kind of value how good a team is outside of wins? But I mean, they play good football. They just don't have all the pieces yet,
Yeah.
and that's just what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. A lot of folks were I've been talking to people at the office, and we was out and about at the mall at Arundel Mills on Saturday, and just folks just kind of had this feeling that New England was going to win the game somehow, because again, there's this I don't know what it is. I think I mentioned this a few episodes ago, that it seems like there's this, not Patriot fatigue, but there's a reputation of the Patriots, being good, but then you think on the other side, it's like, yo, that was a totally different Patriot team. Like,
Yeah,
you're talking about one of the greatest head coaches in the history of football. You're talking about one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Tom Brady. And no disrespect to Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel's a good
yeah,
coach. He's a really good coach, but he's not Bill Belichick. I'm sorry, And Drake May, as good of a year as he's had, he ain't Tom Brady. This is a
that's
different.
it.
This is a different Patriots team. You
And
should
that
just.
defense ain't the same defense.
It's not. It's not. They were good.
Yeah, no, no, yeah, they were
Give them
definitely good.
props.
I'm definitely going to get
Yeah.
ready. Christian Gonzalez, like I knew he was a good cornerback, but I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know he was that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he probably one of the better cornerbacks in the league. Based on what I saw in that Super Bowl, he one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, he was. He was good. Like, that defense, that unit was good. They're fast. They're a very fast defense. But I just, for some reason, I just kept hearing parallels to the 2000 2010s Patriots, and it's like, y'all, like, that's not that. Like, this team has to carve out their own identity in their own
Yeah,
lane. Like,
and I think no, I think part of it is that nobody expected them to be back in the Super Bowl so fast.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
that's
think
part
that's
of it.
I think that's another part of it too. Like nobody expected them to be you know, good team, all the things, but nobody expected the Super Bowl in Drake May's second year. I think that has a lot to do with it. This is Vrabel's first year. Like I don't think
Yeah,
anybody expected this soon.
right.
And so I guess I can understand why people want to start a comparison. Like did the Patriots come off a dynasty and mess around and walk right into a brand new dynasty within 2-3 years of
Mm-hmm.
Belichick leaving. Like I
Yeah.
get it. I get why people want to make comparisons. Not saying that's something I wouldn't necessarily did, but I can understand why people would want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But this like you said, this ain't that yet.
Yeah.
Let's
Like, I think I
let's take a
heard
breather.
Collinsworth the other day. I heard Collinsworth say, "Hey, so what do the Patriots do best? They take away your best player and they dare other guys to beat them." And it's like, is last time I checked, Bill Belichick is retired from the NFL.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
that's a
That's
that's
it.
a Bill
Right.
Belichick thing. That's not
Right.
a Mike Vrabel thing, y'all. Like, y'all got to stop with that. Just let Mike Vrabel and Drake May, let them be them. Let them be their own Patriots identity. And look, maybe they'll be back. Maybe this is a flash in the pan. Their schedule's going to get tougher next
Yeah.
year. First place schedule. It's gonna be a challenge for them. I tell you this. I don't think they're getting back to the Super Bowl next year.
No. No.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, if Bo Nix not been injured, I probably would have had this, a different team in the Super Bowl. Let me be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the schedule is just going to get tougher because they made it to the Super Bowl. We're going to find out what kind of team this is
Mm-hmm.
next year. Next
Yeah,
year. Yeah.
because Josh Allen's still in the AFC East. Last I checked.
Yep.
And I know they got all
Yep.
kinds of changes, head coach and, GM operations and, coordinators and all that. I get they made changes, but number 17 still in Buffalo, last I checked.
Yeah, nah. I think my overall perspective of the game is kind of I wouldn't have called it boring. I think for me the Patriots did the best they could. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like they
Mm,
was holding. If you tell any team, a Super Bowl caliber team, which the Patriots are because they were there, that
mm,
at halftime, you held them to 4 field goals, and if you score a touchdown, you kind of in the game. You're not even
yeah,
kind of, you're in the game. You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think, like I said, I think the Patriots did the best they could defensively. I think offensively, that left side of that offensive line,
I've been saying it.
um, yeah,
Campbell.
you literally, yeah, Campbell. But
Hmm.
then, but then also the guard, he wasn't much better. And then I guess after at some point, really everybody just started doing what
Yeah,
they wanted.
right.
As far as the defensive line getting through to Drake May. I mean, he was sacked five times or something like that.
6 times.
Six. Okay.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, they were just doing what they wanted on defense. And
Hmm.
it's just a tough. It was tough for them. I
Yeah.
will say, and it's not, and I guess if we're criticizing the Patriots, if this is criticized Patriots segment,
Hmm.
um, how you feel about Stephon Diggs right now?
There's so much going on with that guy, on the field, off the field. Well,
Yeah, but
on the field,
yeah,
on the field, I, I don't recall his name being mentioned at all on Sunday. Did he even catch a pass?
I'm sure he caught a pass or two. Like no, I don't that like I'm. I be hearing a lot. I be hearing a lot of the Stephon Diggs for 40 yards in parlays like that. I think that was what like his sweet spot among us.
Yeah.
Where the gambling sites, and
Mm,
I don't think he had 40. I don't think he had 40 yards. I don't know
mm-hmm,
that for a fact, but I don't think he had 40 yards.
mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna ask this question. I might
Yep.
be, overreacting and all those things,
Uh
and
oh.
I'll take that. I might be a prisoner of the
Let's get
moment,
crazy.
all
Let's get
those things.
crazy.
And let me be clear. Stephon Diggs is from the DMV, Gaithersburg, Maryland, Wyndham, Maryland. So nothing but respect for him and his brother, and the what they have achieved in life, let alone an NFL career.
Yeah. Facts.
Is he still the number one wide receiver?
I think this might be this year with the Patriots might not be a good example of determining whether he's still a number one or not.
Okay.
Um, and I know last year he was with Houston, and that
Yep.
didn't work out. He got hurt, so there wasn't really a opportunity to experience that.
Man, because
I
they had
just
needed him this year, though. Used him this year. The
yeah,
Texans,
yeah,
I mean.
right. Yeah, yeah, they definitely could have used him for sure. Yeah, I just think this Patriot team, the way they're coached, I just don't think he had the opportunities enough um, to really show that he's still like a number one receiver. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
would answer that as to be determined. And
Okay.
obviously he's he's older, so and I don't know what his contract situation is with New
Neither
England,
do
but
I.
Um, but I think that it remains to be seen whether he could do that. I was going to ask you before we bring on Mykell. I was going to ask you, how did you feel about in terms of Drake May, the MVP voting, and congrats to Matt Stafford on a well deserved league MVP, but the voting results, I think Matt Stafford had 24 first place
Yeah, 23.
and Drake May had 23. How did you feel about the how
I mean, who
close it
was
was?
um I mean, they've been glazing Drake May all year. So I mean, I think I'm okay with the numbers as long as they got the results right. I mean, because the result. I mean, Matthew Stafford has been the better quarterback this year, and I think that Drake May, just how he works within that offense. I'm not saying he's useless. I think you could find somebody better in that system and be that same New England Patriots team, or find somebody comparable and be that same New England team how they were this year. So I think Matthew Stafford was more valuable to his team than Drake May
Hmm.
was to his team. So they
I
got it
agree.
right. But they've been glazing Drake May all year. So I get it. Like, I get why it was so close, because I mean that's how they've been treated. I mean, it took us
It
mid
was
year to
narrative
see.
driven for the most part.
Yeah,
It was narrative
yeah.
driven,
Like, yeah,
which
that's the
most
better way to
MVP
see.
conversations are. Like most MVP topics and conversations are narrative driven. So anytime you get the conversation about you for the majority of the year, you're gonna get enough votes to
Yeah, I'm
be in
glad
that
they got it
conversation.
right, picking the guy that was playing better football as opposed to the guy who had the bigger story per se.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it might be that way, but I honestly, to me, I thought it should have been a landslide for Matt Stafford, but I did see that Justin Herbert got a vote, which
Yeah,
which which
I'm
was
not entertaining that.
which was
I'm
crazy.
not
Yeah,
entertaining that. I'm not
which is
entertaining that.
that's crazy. If they thought Justin Herbert was a league MVP candidate, crazy work. All right, um, let's get the guest in here. Hopefully, okay.
Okay, it's not that bad. I'm not tripping. Okay.
Yeah, your color was good. Your color was fine. I was trying to figure
Okay.
out what you was talking about, and then I was like, oh
On my
yeah,
screen, it looked black and white. I'm like, wait a minute. Anywho, I'm around. What's
you're
going on,
back.
fellas?
You're backstage. That's what that means. You're in the bullpen. You're in the bullpen. Mykell, welcome back to the show. It's been a minute. It's been a while. Just want to get your stuff out there. Morgan State grad, DC native, Commanders fan. Got the podcast Rolling with Ramos. You can find that on YouTube and all your streaming platforms. Welcome back again. How's everything? How's the new year been treating you?
I don't know. And I guess that's because
Hmm.
we're 2 months in, a month and a half, not even a month and a half. If you would have asked me this a week ago, I would have said, man, I don't even know how this year gonna work. I thought 2026 was gonna turn to change. Now I'm like, okay, a couple days go by, some stuff changes. So I'm seeing some action. So I'm chilling. I'm happy for a new year, happy to be around. Every new year, every new day is a blessing. You all know what somebody didn't get a chance to have it. So I'm happy
Amen.
to have
Yeah.
it.
Amen to that. We were just discussing, the Super Bowl. We're talking about the quarterbacks and everything. Let's jump right into it. Your thoughts on everything you saw, whether it's the game, halftime show, you name it.
Well, we started with the halftime show. There's people that don't even know the difference between they, there, and there. And you're mad at this man because he put his whole country on his back on a platform. That's what the Super Bowl is for. The Super Bowl performance is for a vibe and a statement. I didn't last year. I like Kendrick and I was watching Kendrick, but I didn't get all the things that he was trying to say until after the fact and somebody was explaining it to me. You know,
Hmm.
I don't think it's nothing more American than being able to go, which Puerto Rico is an American territory.
Yeah, U.S.
Yeah.
territory.
So I don't understand the beef with that. Like, you go to other
It's
countries,
because they can't vote. That's what people keep telling me is that Puerto Ricans can't vote in the election, which I think is crazy. If you U.S. territory and you can't vote in the U.S. election, that sounds crazy. But go ahead. I ain't mean to.
especially when the president of the United States calls them trash. Like, that doesn't make a deal. If anything, as we go to other countries to go to enjoy ourselves, have fun, catch a vibe, and we don't even bother to get engulfed in the culture. Yet the first person put, but immigrants come over here, and we don't even allow them to get used to being in America. We think that they need to adjust to us. That's how crazy entitlement can be. I don't know a lot of Spanish, but the Spanish that I do know, the people that I've spoken to, their eyes light up because the fact that somebody tried to communicate with them. Imagine not being able to communicate with nobody but who knows how to speak what you speak or where you from.
Hmm.
And it makes me feel good inside. We always talk about going out and catching a vibe. You don't need to catch. You don't need to know what he's saying to catch a vibe. I even downloaded some songs the other night. I was like, oh, I forgot about this one. It was truly a great performance, and a performance that sparked a lot of. He could have went real political with it, but he decided to not only honor his country, but to be endorsing to other countries, immigrants, the flags, and spread love. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was a great performance, and I thought that's what you want the Super Bowl performance to be, a vibe and something that makes a statement. As far as the game, it's gave Thursday night football to me. You know how you get excited to watch Thursday night? Maybe this is a good game, and in the game, Thursday night never pans out how you think it's gonna pan out unless it's the Unk Bowl, and they going back and forth the slinging. Who knew that game was gonna be that crazy as it was? But if anything, Bad Bunny saved Super Bowl 60.
Sheesh.
The best performance.
The game itself, I understand a defensive battle, but nobody going to score. I swear, if Seattle could have at least got one more field goal, they didn't even need the touchdown. One more field goal would have sealed the deal already.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly was going for Houston. I thought Houston was going to beat New England, and I would have loved to see Houston, Seattle. But the way they did Drake May, and the way CJ was out here performing, they would have threw him out of Levi. So I don't know.
Yeah,
so I don't even know what could have been the parameters of that. It was nice to see the rematch. I thought the Marshawn Lynch commercial was icing on the cake after the end.
Loved it.
Loved it. If you're from the DMV, you had 4 of us in there. That was giving it up and doing what we had to do. Shout out to Oluwatimi. Shout out to Stephon Diggs, Maryland product in DMV, went to Maryland. He's a Terrapin, his brother. So we represented big times. Some of us came back as champions, which is cool because, when you're from where you're from, you only think that you don't think the same people that walk the same sidewalks as you and know what's going on. You think about how you can make it too. So to know that these people eating mumble sauce with me, especially in a place like DC where, it's always about the government. Since being back home, you see the political climate and how it can come and divide the city, a city that's rich in culture. And, why am I walking up 8th Street with National Guards with me walking by them? But, you got to respect that. But it's nice to see that outside of that, the people it's not about the monuments. The people are what make the city. So whatever regentrification you want to do, it makes the city. I thought the game could have been better. I wish it was a little bit better. That's the last football game for a long time. And,
that's what I'm saying. That game. I mean, it wasn't as boring as, but it definitely. I'd say I'm kind of echoing the same thing you saying though. But by the third quarter, I'm like, once Seattle gets to the end zone, this game is pretty much going to be a wrap. And by 10:30ish, maybe it wasn't that late. Maybe it was right mid third quarter.
I'd say 10 o'clock-ish. Yeah, I'd say
it
right
was
around
about 10
there.
o'clock. Okay, it was about 10 o'clock.
I'd say about 10 o'clock. Yeah, the first turnover. The first turnover.
I said I could take this game to my bed and go to sleep. I don't got to sit up and watch this avidly. How did you feel about Drake May's performance? Let's start with the negative because I'm sure it's plenty to go around.
Man, how was he supposed to do anything with that front 4?
Yeah,
we're not even talking about the secondary because the secondary, all they had to do was play their role. Yeah. I would like to honorable mention Christian Gonzalez because this game could have been wide open even more for Seattle. Christian played the game of his life in the Super Bowl. And if they won, definitely would have gotten a Super Bowl MVP because Christian single-handedly stopped a lot of things that could have got out of control in his own right. But as far as Drake May, that front 4 is crazy. The secondary just had to do their job. But that front 4, every time you turned, it wasn't even a blitz. They were just pushing through that New England offensive line. It was without even you didn't need no strength to do it. It was like they was walking past them. They were
Mm-hmm.
relentless. They attacked the ball. So when you want to talk about Drake May, ask yourself what he was supposed to do in that situation. Not to mention, this is a second-year quarterback.
Yeah.
This man is young.
Mm-hmm.
How there's not a lot of people that can make it there. Hell, I almost made it there last year. We forget that Jaden Daniels was a rookie. And then you go into your second season, people are injured. People got tape on you now. There's so many things that come in the parameter of change.
Defense old.
Yeah, how can you adjust your game and advance it past what everybody has already seen? Mike Vrabel had them boys playing like dogs in the atmosphere that he's already been in, so he understands how to win. Drake is young. Drake ain't been here. So on top of, he looked like Cam Newton against Denver. There's nothing Cam could have done for that with that offensive line.
I thought he looked worse than that. I thought Drake May looked worse than Cam Newton. Respect to Cam Newton, but I thought Drake May looked a lot worse.
I thought there was really, you saw certain flashes where he was able to scramble, but by that time the game had already been put in the hands of Seattle. So adjustments they could have made was false. Stephon Diggs wasn't. I don't understand why he wasn't a big part of the offense, because giving him a chance to, expand the offense a little bit, you got to take that deep ball throw. You have to take that chance. But I can't take the chance if I'm dropping back and I can't even throw to you. Like, he's young. It's his second year. It's your first time in it's your first time in the playoffs. Let alone you make it to a Super Bowl. How the hell am I supposed to take all this? And then I got these four or five guys coming to me. There's no veteranship that's supposed to happen in this. I didn't know where Mike Vrabel, watching this whole game, I wasn't sure where Mike Vrabel was going with his coaching at all. I was looking for
not a lot of adjustments.
Yeah, I was looking for
not a lot of adjustments made there. Yeah.
Even when you saw something was working, you didn't go with it. Like, people forget, Sam Darnold got pressured. They were able to that Pat's defense was awesome. Sam Darnold was pressured, and we all saw what could happen when Sam Darnold is pressured. That's why he got most of the flack that he got in Minnesota and with the Jets, because when you can get into that pocket and get him and make him throw them throws so fast, you don't know you see what he can be capable of doing. There was a wide open pass he overthrew to Jackson. But if he had a little bit more time of it, the game would have been lost then.
Right.
So I think that we understand that he may have not wanted to perform this way, but also there weren't things in place for him not to perform this way. Like, that front four was vicious. What else did you expect this man to do? He's young. We got to give him some grace. His first Super Bowl appearance. Like, I understand the MVP votes and all. I know all that. Matthew Stafford, he's been in this league how long? He is about time he got with the Rams. He turned his life around. Like, you gotta really, like, put into perspective some things of humanity when it comes along with this. I know he didn't want to have that performance. We didn't want to see that performance, but come on.
Yeah.
But the Patriots game plan, to me, and I feel like it's been this way the whole playoffs for them, is that, hey, Sam is going to throw you one.
Yeah.
Sam he going to turn it over. Just be patient. Let's just wait until Sam gives it up, and then that's when we're going to make our move. And, credit to Sam Darnold, no turnover. No turnovers this whole postseason run.
No,
exactly.
None whatsoever. So, and I guess we got to kind of talk about Sam Darnold a bit too. And I put a question out there on a reel yesterday, and I said, so where do you put Sam Darnold in the list of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks? Is he in the Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson category, or is he in the Nick Foles category, where both guys were backup quarterbacks, for, a chunk of their career, and then they found a sweet spot, they got the start, and then, they just went on a run? I tend to lean more so that he's with the Nick Foles of the world when it comes to Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. What say you, Mykell?
I would have to agree. I feel like if you learn anything from this Super Bowl, first of all, if you learn anything from this year, we were so far, we were 8, 9, 10, 11 weeks, and there was no front runner. Nobody really pushed themselves to say, oh, we're the ones that you got to beat. You know what I'm saying? Every
Mm,
week you thought it would be somebody. Green Bay, you thought it was going to be Green Bay. The Michael Parsons gets hurt. Jordan Love goes through a little bit of something. The
Yeah.
Eagles are you're finally seeing the internal issues with the Eagles to the point where now it's showing on the field because nobody pays attention to what's going on if you're winning. Now they don't even look like they cohesive in a team anymore. Do they even get along? So then they don't look like they're going back and they're returning. There's holes in there. We were looking like front runners coming to this season, this whole new offense, and then all these injuries happened, and we could never really pull it together as Commanders. Then you're talking about San Francisco. San Francisco injury ridden, but always finds themselves in the thick of it some way somehow,
Yep.
and they couldn't get it done. So we never have had a front runner this season. Seattle has stayed consistent, but everybody was still talking about the Rams. And then here we are, sometime later, and you're looking at the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny. I'm at the Super Bowl because I believe in myself, and it goes the same as on the field. I mean, I want somebody to, you know who I want somebody to interview. I want somebody to interview Justin Jefferson because I know he got to be out there gritty and mad as hell. Because what the heck did y'all do to me? And the situation, if you give, like, we're in a culture where, what have you done for me lately? Well, if you can't do it right now, you can't do it right now. Sam Darnold was a backup. We all know what happened with the Jets. He stayed consistent. He stayed true to himself. There's nothing he did different. We all know that he's prone to maybe throwing it away. He held on to the ball. He let his defense do his thing. He made the plays when he was supposed to make them that mattered. His life totally changed in Seattle. So I would think it'd be a more Nick Foles situation because the whole Super Bowl, the whole mantra of the year is who is it? But now that we know who is it, we just know that it's a matter of, hey, when nobody else believes, we can just believe in ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Look at what happened to the Seahawks last year. They fired a coach, Jackson Smith and Jigba. He gets drafted. I know he was looking around like, what the heck is going to happen?
Yeah.
Like all these changes.
And they got rid of Geno.
Now they have one of the top defenses in the league.
mm-hmm.
You know, Cooper Kupp. You know, Jaron hit him up and said, hey, we got something special out here. We need you to come out here. This man's a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
Mm-hmm. And a Super Bowl MVP.
MVP.
To his accolades.
MVP.
Yeah.
There's so many things that weren't supposed to happen here. But
And I think I think maybe this isn't the most important thing too, but Maestro, if you remember when DeMarcus Lawrence went to the Seahawks and left the Cowboys, and you remember the whole rift between him and Micah. Exchange, right. And, you know, I think we had said that, well, you going to the Seahawks, and the Seahawks at that time wasn't necessarily a Super Bowl contender, you know, preseason, offseason, you know, projections and stuff like that. But look at him now. Now he could tell the Cowboys, he could tell that team over there, hey, yo, I came here to win a championship, and, you know, I did it when you guys couldn't do it.
Didn't. Yeah, no, for sure. No, I was just saying that to answer your question, Trey. I mean, he's definitely in that Nick Foles conversation among Super Bowl quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But also, a lot like what we talked about last week is I think Sam Darnold was trying to kind of separate himself from the fleet. And I wouldn't necessarily call him a top 10 quarterback after this game, but certainly he did enough for you to look at him like, okay, that stigma that came with him when he came into the league, you know, being with the Jets and I think it was Carolina before he went to Minnesota.
Yeah, it was
like
in San Francisco in the middle there.
Yeah. That Sam Darnold that y'all knew, that guy's gone. And I think he was successful this season and in the Super Bowl in eliminating the stigma of Sam Darnold being a bust or being a bad quarterback or being a backup quarterback. I think he's proven that he is a starter in this league and on the top half of starters in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
I mean, in a draft class where you're standing next to Lamar Jackson and you're standing next to Josh Allen, nobody was thinking about Sam Darnold. And here we
Baker.
are.
And Baker was the number
and
one
Baker
pick.
Mayfield. You got
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield as a dog. You got Lamar that just can do all these amazing things, and they still don't believe in Lamar to a degree because this man could be Superman the whole game. It's still somebody else. It's still his fault. Josh Allen, he took accountability. The world wouldn't let him take accountability because you in the same boat. We gotta start talking about you. And then there's this guy that's just there. He's normal. He doesn't boast a lot. Some will call him average. He just played football. And here we are in Sam Darnold. And I like nuances and I like a continuation of a story. And to see that years ago, I used to love LOB. And shout out to Cam Chancellor. They don't make them like you no more. Oh my God. The way the league is now, flags have been all up and down on Cam Chancellor. Him,
sure.
Sean Taylor, rest in peace. They don't make them like that no more. You want to talk about hits? Bam. You want to talk about hits? And
Ryan Clark.
Vernon Davis still suffering from that sideline hit.
Oh man, we talking about the Pro Bowl every year. I don't know if you guys notice, but every year when they talk about the Pro Bowl and this flag football thing, they got to talk about Sean Taylor and that hit on the kicker.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the Pro Bowl. You're supposed to be having fun. No, we're not having fun out here. Pop. So, but like I said, I like nuances and the continuation of a story. So in liking LOB and to talk about what brought them to prominence way back when was their defense, and to see that the same thing that made people like kind of sort of get into what was going on in Seattle was the defense again. It's just such a beautiful thing. We go from the LOB to entering the dark side. And I think that's very, very great. Mac McDonald, he only a year older than me. I'm 37. He's 38. Wow.
Yeah.
But you go from being a backup and then here you go from being a coach. You're not the head coach and this is your first gig and this is what you do to this team.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Yeah,
So
I gotta tell the Ravens flock because I'm a Ravens fan, and so everybody is still like they can't get over that Mike McDonald left the castle, left the building, and it's like y'all, he was in the AFC Championship game. Like they were not gonna fire John Harbaugh after coming off of an AFC Championship game appearance. It just wasn't gonna happen.
The Harbaugh still got one too. Jim's son just got one too.
Right. I saw that. I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, coordinators, they work hard and they get promoted. That's what happens when you put out a good defensive unit. When you rank top 5, that's what happens. You got to let coordinators go and do their own thing. And I'm happy for Mike McDonald. I'm really happy that he was able to kind of soak that in and really get to experience that. Yeah. He did a really great job with that defense for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see because we gotta go now. The season's over, and the teams that you think wasn't willing and wasn't able to do last year, people are going to start getting healthy. People are going to start switching up a bit, and it's hard to get there anyway. It's damn sure hard to repeat. So
yeah. And now they trying to add what's this, an 18th game, and they trying to make all the teams do international travel for international games and all this stuff.
I guess it's just I don't know.
And y'all didn't want
Bad
Bad Bunny performing. You want to go international, but you don't want.
That part.
You had guacamole, chips, salsa. How much stuff y'all had at this Super Bowl party? And y'all mad that y'all had to listen to some music in Spanish? Y'all couldn't catch no vibe. What's wrong with y'all?
Yeah, or you could have just muted it or walked out your living room, but.
Right, or tune the Kid Rock.
Right. You could have did so many.
Right?
You could have did so many things. I think I agree. It's damn sure hard to repeat, and but I do want to put on the record because I like putting this on the record anytime a guest comes on. Maestro did pick Seattle going to the Super Bowl in Week 8.
Oh.
He did.
I did actually. Oddly enough, what I saw them do to your Commanders. I know y'all had some injuries. I ain't blaming it on y'all 100%. I came on this podcast and said, I don't know, Trey, But that looked like a Super Bowl team right there.
Yeah.
I
And
did
I
pick
think that
Seattle
was a
win, but
surprise for me,
Houston,
Maestro, was that
Seattle.
you picked that
yeah,
game to say, hey,
yeah,
that team looks like a
that looked
team
like
that
a
could go
team
to the
that's going
Super
It
to the
took
Super
Bowl.
me all
Bowl.
to the end, guys. I got all the way to the end, and I was like, okay, that Rams Seattle game was that divisional round was one for the ages. You can't make something like that up. And I just was like, it looks more Seattle. I was like, I'm gonna go Seattle, Houston.
Hmm.
Because I figured, okay, it's okay if that's a Super Bowl caliber defense, and people need to start paying attention to that because them boys is young. Will Anderson is young.
Yeah,
Them boys is young,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it just felt like if your quarterback is struggling like that, and the defense was able to win the game like that, oh, this is about to be crazy. You didn't
yeah,
expect CJ to have another bad game like that. You thought he wasn't going to do it again, and he did. And this time, it just what they still played well, but it wasn't over. It wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Like they
yeah,
needed a little bit more offense. So I had Houston, Seattle.
Yeah. I picked
So
against Seattle pretty much up until
you had no
to the Super
choice.
Bowl. To the
you
Super
had
Bowl.
no,
Yeah, right. Until I had no choice.
yeah,
Because I mean, picking the Rams, a couple of weeks before, that wouldn't have been a bad, pick. I mean, they won a Super Bowl 4 years ago. It's Matthew Stafford, it's Sean McVay and that defense. And a lot of people talked about the Rams being a Super Bowl contender anyway. So I said, let me just go along with experience and see how that works out. And Sam Darnold and that defense, they slayed the dragon finally. So, but Mykell, I wanted
yes.
to, I know we don't have much time with you, so I wanted to kind of
I'm
get.
actually good to go. So if you need me just a little bit longer, I can do it.
Okay,
I got
now
through a
that's a
lot
bet.
today.
Mm.
That's a bet. That's a bet. So, ESPN, and you worked there for a couple of years doing some behind the scenes things, some video editing and things like that. So, just wanted to kind of get an opinion from you on what life was like working for ESPN. Like what did you learn? What's the pros? What's the cons? What's the weirdest things you've seen working there? Like like the personalities that we see on TV there. Are they who they really are? Are they not? Like take me through that. Go ahead, Maestro. I know you about to
No, I was just
say
saying, give
something.
us some mess. I was just saying, give us some mess.
Now, look, some of these people are still good friends of mine. I ain't trying to go crazy
Yeah,
now. But I mean, it's crazy because we've become a culture where ESPN is the top, but it's not only the only place that it's the top, but some would consider it not the top. There's a lot of places where you can get your sports now. You can get it from you can get it from me, you can get it from a lot of places. The door is wide open.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I will say, every time I put the badge up, I was proud. It took me a long time to get to that journey to have it complete. And I felt like, at some point I was at the top of the cliff and I was looking down and saying what was next for me, and it was nice to make that dream come true and share that with my family, share that with my father and what we used to talk about. And to actually every day I held that badge up and saw those 4 letters and they wasn't locking me out. I could get in.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
a wonderful experience. You're sitting there and you're in screening and Tutty might walk through the hallway. Star Wars characters might walk through the hallway. You don't know what's gonna happen of the day. Uso brothers might come through and they're doing a photo op. You can go and you can take a picture. Like it's so
Yeah.
much going on. And I learned how to put together a show, how to roll with the punches, how to be in a lot of pressure. You can have a whole show together and then John Harbaugh gets fired and then that's over.
yeah,
Because now
Yeah.
we got to switch gears and we going back to the top of the show. And we're talking NFL Live comes on at 4:00. He gets fired at 3:20. We got to
yeah,
move some things around.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to be in a pressure situation. Sometimes the pressure cooker isn't good because it's really you learn by fire. But at the same time, when I've gone to other places and it's been too slow, I'm like, wait a minute, this is too calm. What's going on? But also at the
yeah,
same time, we're not in there looking like the office and throwing papers up in the air. It's calm days, and sometimes you get 1 or 2 VOs, and they might get they might get floated and not even on the show, but you came to work and you're there, and you're talking to people, and everybody's sports fans. I mean, it's Kobe is one of my is my favorite player. And I don't know if y'all remember that interview he did with Ahmad Rashad before he passed away when he was retiring. He said, some people go their whole lives not knowing what makes them drive. What gives them what gives them purpose, what gives them a passion. And he was lucky enough to find that early. And I feel like I truly live by that mantra. I've always loved sports. My dad introduced me to the game. They say he used to hold me in his arms and watch the game when I was younger. And you don't know what you're doing, but who knew that would be the seed to propel my life? And I get to cover and do sports and do the thing that I love. So here I am, and I'm in ESPN. I get to create these wonderful things that people look to. It's a 20-second VO. It's going across the screen like this. It might hit or it might hit. But how many million people saw that? They don't know I did it. But how many people saw that? And that'll always be crazy to me. Connecticut's different. Bristol's different. My mother and father are from Bridgeport, so Bristol makes Bridgeport look like Vegas. If you know, you know. So there's nothing to do really doing Bristol. You got to find your nuances and your things of what you can and cannot do. And I went on a lot of walks. Okay, but coming back to Nation's Capital, I get a chance to see the city moving again. That was different. You basically moved your life. I'm happy to have been there to not have been there at all. You work with people like you walk in the sports center and you're handing scripts off to Gary Streisky and Randy Scott. Randy's from Fairfax. So we always talk about the DMV. We always talk about the Commanders, the Redskins, the Washington football team, because you don't know pain unless you loved all three. Gary was a nice guy, walking in, and one of the awesome people. You're sitting next to Hannah Storm. You're handing her stuff. She likes her scripts different. It can be a hassle, but she's Hannah Storm. She earned the right for that to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she a legend. She a legend in the game. For sure.
And I have a sports center anchor. I didn't even have anywhere to go for Thanksgiving. It was no point in me trying to come to DC. It was no point in me trying to go to Bridgeport where my mother was, because I had another job working at a clothing store in Hartford in the mall, and I had to work Black Friday. He invited me to his home, and I had Thanksgiving there. So, it's a community, it's a camaraderie. I learned what it is to truly be a minority, being from the nation's capital, and then going to an HBCU. I joke with people because I say that's the first time I felt like I was a minority. I might walk into the room, not only be the only black person in the room, I might be the only woman, and I might be the only black woman in there. So you learn to divide. You learn to take heed to the fact that this is a spot that's so coveted that a lot of people are still trying to knock on this door. There was a lot of things that I wish that would have went differently. There's a lot of things I wish I would have did differently, but that's on my resume. You can't take it from me, and I'm better.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm better have been there than not at all. If you watched the Super Bowl show a couple years ago, something I pitched, that Sports Center in the morning Super Bowl show. They were looking for things to talk about. Yeah. And I was like, well, maybe we should do a compilation of Jeff Darlington's battles with the weather, because he had been put in a lot of cold climates. So if you watch that Super Bowl show on Sports Center that morning, that little funny snippet of him coming out of the igloo and going to all these cold places and looking miserable, that was your girl.
Okay.
I can say that, and if you've seen it, you've seen it. That's crazy.
Okay. Oh, good
stuff. That's some good shit. You like you said, can't nobody take it from you. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If there was something that so a lot of our listeners absolutely despise what they call four-letter networks. That includes ESPN. If there was one thing you could say to change a listener's mind about their view of ESPN or mainstream sports platforms, what would you say?
I mean, you all seen that interview with Jamel Hill, and she was talking about her departure from ESPN and things of that nature. You know, that stuck with me. You know, people go their whole lives wanting to get to that point. People have such this dream, and you get there and you realize that it might be a little bit harder for you than you thought it was, or you're not going to be the person that you want to be there. I'm the work that I'm doing now, as much as I loved ESPN, I wouldn't have been able to really do if I was there, you know, because there's certain avenues that you have to stay in. There's a certain amount of paying your dues that you have to do, you know, and I'm not to say that I didn't want to do that, but there were certain things that was ringing forth to me that I wanted to do. You get on this hamster wheel there where you just want it, and you get caught up in the conglomerate of being at ESPN, that you get totally engulfed in that culture and just trying to do right for them.
Yeah.
Rollin Ramos was gone. I built that. So now I can come back to that. I can allow people to see sports through my eyes and be able to say that I can edit. That was the first biggest editing job I had.
So, Mykell, you're trying to say when you worked at ESPN, you couldn't do your own podcast? Was that like
you could do podcasts?
Okay.
But I kind of let it fall to the wayside because I was doing what
it was your decision.
I got caught up in the way of what I was doing there.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people realize that this is what it is and this is what it wasn't. And they couldn't be able to bridge that gap. And listen, Stephen A. Smith is Stephen A. Smith, and it's a thin line between love and hate. But that man worked hard to be where he is.
Yeah.
He grinded. Here down here, the Washington Post, the sports department just got axed. Michael Wilbon, Tony Kornheiser used to have columns in that newspaper. David Aldridge, if you love David Aldridge, he's one of my mentors. He was in there. We got him from them. Kimberly Martin worked at the Post, was an NFL reporter for the Post before she did her job doing the Jets coverage. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people grinded to get to be able to be in front of a television, and you think it's so easy out there. You know? So we got to stop the narrative of what you like and don't like, because if you don't like it, we living in a democratic society. So they say.
So they
there's
say.
A remote, there's a button, and you can press it to go to another number.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Talk down on what brings us the news, and you find the source that works for you. I watch ESPN now still. And in my head, I think to myself, man, if they needed somebody to edit something, they could tag me in right now. I could do that. You know, like
right.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But you know, those are the names that were on ESPN, have been on ESPN, that came from environments where they had to work from the bottom to get to that point.
Yeah.
So just because you don't like their satire and opinions are buttholes, everybody got one. There's somebody that's gonna love me and hate me at the same time. We do in sports. Is the beautiful thing about sports is you want somebody to agree with you. You want to be able to take the flag out and have people behind you. But if you don't believe in what I believe in, we can agree to disagree, because what I say, you might not agree with, but they might believe what you agree with or what you agree with. There's so many avenues that we can go with this. Again, ESPN has been looked at as something that's the top of the top. And because it's the top of the top, to some people, they get disappointed in what they feel like is lacking and what they want to see. If you don't like it, why continue to complain about it? You turn it on just to complain? You know, so in general,
so
when
do
it
you
comes
think
to
these people be
journalism and all
lying?
that, we got to get out of that mindset.
Do you think these people be lying? Because you kind of hit a point that I find interesting. That I find myself saying a lot to some of these people, some of the people who we communicate with on this from the show. And it's like, y'all gotta stop this. I don't like ESPN. I don't like ESPN. But then y'all get y'all news from ESPN.
I go, man, one of the things I go to work, Sports Center, you got to be there 3:30 in the morning. You get to work, you know, those people, those producers, those content producers, those graphic producers, they work hard. As soon as the 2P Sports Center ends, soon as the 12P Sports Center ends, they're back on the wheel trying to generate tomorrow morning. They come in with ideas. They're probably already talking wee hours in the night. You got to go to sleep at least 7, 8 o'clock to be ready for this shift. You know, imagine the time that they have with their families. You come in and you're like, hey, I got an idea. Maybe we should do this. They're sitting there putting the show together. They want all this. They want all these things put together. You literally these people work hard to put this show together.
Yeah.
And you see one person on there and say, oh, he always talking that dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. But yet you still giving it coverage.
Goes into this. You know what I'm saying? We got to remember the artistry of journalism. But also, if you don't like, I don't like a lot of what some people may say, but it's there for the taking. I can take it and get an idea of a conversation so that I can go generate my own conversations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I'm glad you brought up the Washington Post. And the news of all the layoffs, and look, I think it's garbage. It's absolute trash that they would just get rid of the entire sports department. So, you know, when I talk to somebody in the area and they say that they used to buy the Washington Post as a kid, I can understand that because growing up in Brooklyn, New York, I used to buy the Daily News every day, you know, to look at the sports section and stuff like that.
Rob Parker,
shout out to him. So, you know, if that department was still here today, the Washington Post, I mean, they missed out on so many, you know, stories just in this past week. I mean, the Wizards made a big trade. You know, that's something they could have been talking about. The Redskins / Commanders lost 2 of their greatest players to death, this week, you know. So this is the type of stuff that, you know, they could be talking about, but, you know, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what Jeff Bezos's agenda is, but it seems like since he's purchased the Post, things just kind of been going downhill from there.
If you want to make this a political paper, you make it a political paper. And guess what? Because we know where you operate from, we know who you can be able to answer to. We live in DC. Again, the political climate is like cutting a knife. So if I can control the narrative and control where the news come from, that's just one more thing under the notch that Pennsylvania Avenue likes, you know? And, you know, all them people we just named that went to the Super Bowl, that's from the nation's capital, from the DMV and their surrounding counties, that's not expressed. You watch the news, all you have is the news to get your sports news from. My father used to tell me, if you want to do this, you got to know everything. I used to have to sit down and read those articles. My journalistic integrity came from reading the Post, reading the sports section. He said, you have to know everything. Yeah. And, you know, like the names I just told you, those are caliber people that worked hard at that job and were able to turn it into something more. And they grind it. And now is where do you get your sports from? You got the trades, you got you got everything that's going on. John Wall has finally been embraced in DC. The Leoneses and him finally kind of was able to bury the hatchet. You just had his ceremony before the year ended. I was able to cover a HBCU and DC tournament. If everybody's familiar with Todd Bozeman, who's from the area, we know his son got killed a couple of years ago on H Street. Now there's a foundation in his honor. And they did a whole HBCU tournament the day before Thanksgiving, and they're trying to make that a thing that becomes a thing. Then next year, there's 2 games instead of 1. There's a boys and a girls. So, but who's going to cover this if they have nowhere to go? Because none of these television stations can do it all, and it just sucks. So, and hopefully this is grounds for the people that haven't got a chance to make it to these big conglomerates to be able to do their big ones. You know, we can band together and say, hey, we may not have the Post on our letters, but we can still go out there and cover this. What's going to happen to high school sports? What's going to talk about being back in these communities? You talk about, about guys like. You know, you're talking about guys like Olawatumi, he went to DeMatha. You talk
Mm-hmm.
about Caleb Williams with the Gonzaga. If anybody know anything about the Archdiocese of Washington, they breed some big people. Like you, where do you go with getting in the breast of the community and your next star could just win the Super Bowl or the NBA
Yeah.
Finals? But we can't touch that because there's only but a handful of places to touch it. So it's just unfortunate. But we all know where that's going, why that's going that
Yeah,
place in that avenue. And
yeah,
Mm.
sucks.
hey,
Yeah, go ahead, Maestro. I'm sorry.
No,
I
I
thought you was gonna say
wasn't.
something.
I wasn't. It's on you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, good stuff, Mykell. I agree with everything you're saying there as far as what they're going to be missing as far as those coverages. I didn't even think about high school, games and things like that. Those are such big, important events in the community there. Um, so yeah, it's their loss. It's the post loss, but it's going to be somebody else's coverage to gain.
yeah. I mean, they're already talking about layoffs, and there's a place that's trying to put all those people together. So now we can create our own world. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
For somebody like me, hey, I know you guys need somebody for editorial, but did you need some sports in this? Because
Yeah.
and there you go. So if you taking jobs from us, well, hey, you done gave us a chance to maybe create our own jobs, and you got to speak to these places. Like we talk about regentrification, and it's a good thing. I'm not trying to knock it, and since I've been home, I've been able to experience DC differently. You know,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
what I was, even though I came back and forth. Don't get me wrong, but as far as having my address under my name again in
Mm-hmm.
DC, I'm walking around and like, oh, I remember when that was Woods. Now that's there or this there. One of my latest things is exploring the coffee shops in the city. But despite all of that and the newness, you can't take away from the foundation what's already there. Places like New
Yeah.
York, places like DC, Chocolate City, we will always be there. And when you talk about these certain changes and you talk about political
Mhm.
climates, it's a voice to end our voices. And we just can't have that.
Yeah,
Nah.
facts.
I agree with that. I agree with that. More and more I walk around, and I'm outside a lot, you know, and seeing National Guards and all that. But our black people still here. We still here. That I could tell you. We are definitely still here.
True
Um,
Washingtonians don't give a crap
yeah,
about that. We
yeah,
ain't the
we
ones
still
doing
here.
nothing. It's either
Yeah,
these young kids or people that's not even from here. That's
yeah,
that's
Yeah,
yeah.
making
facts.
it look crazy.
Yeah,
But I
facts.
will say respect. These guys, these National Guards, I had to catch myself a couple of times because you say, damn, I'm walking by a National Guard. At the end of the day, these kids, 18, 19, 20, some of them, they look young. And they just wanted to get in the National Guard to have a job and honor their country. That's what,
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
I wanted to be a broadcaster, that's what they wanted to do. So at the end of the day, thank you for your service.
I
You know,
guess. I mean, it
or I
ain't
can
them.
walk
It
by you
ain't
and respect you. You're doing a job. It's not like y'all came together and said we're gonna go out there together.
right, right. That I can respect and understand. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not you as a person. It's your institution and the person or the person that's leading your institution rather. That got you out here looking crazy and got us looking. I mean, I look at it, I look weird at them just like they look weird at me sometimes. It's like I just walk past and it's like, what are you like? What are you?
some
I'm
of them
used to
don't
it
want
now.
to be
It's
there
like,
as much
They
as
don't
we
want to be there.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. As much as
we
I
don't
don't
want
want to
them
see
there.
them, they don't want to be there. Right. Yeah. But it's just like, what are you doing? Like, what are y'all doing right now? And more times than not, they just sitting around doing absolutely nothing because it ain't
No,
nothing to do.
we got
Um,
to get you to help with the ice or something. Like, what's good? I can't walk. Like, what's going on?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely irritating. It's definitely irritating. But like you said, I do agree with the idea that hey, look, these individuals are just here to do a job more times, to have a job, more importantly, more
Yeah,
times than not, than they are trying to cause strife in the city.
yeah. We
Yeah,
just again, the political climate is just teeter tots.
different.
It's different, and it makes we didn't have to pay attention to it as much growing up because it wasn't around. And when you have people that look like you in office, Marion Barry made it seem like DC was just so
Mm.
perfect, and it wasn't
I miss
perfect.
Marion Barry.
But I mean, it's not like there's where's Job Corps now. So there's
Yeah.
just certain things that you still proud to be where you from, and you still travel it with you. If you're from, just like you can tell in New York anyway. How you know I'm from New York? You know your accent. I don't know what borough you from, but I know the accent. And,
Yep.
and what I've learned being away is there's no way you can understand being from the DMV unless you're from there, because
Unless you're from there, yeah.
Murray is from Maryland, and you understand that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure.
just like going back to the Super Bowl, and the beautiful thing about that is now everybody's wearing their flags. There was a post with the Seahawks today. Jackson Smith and Jigba, his people are from Sierra Leone. You got people that's from England, Austria. Now they're wearing their flags with pride, and it comes from the performance of Bad Bunny. Like, if anything that the Super Bowl has taught you is to believe in yourself and that you can be seen. The game might not have been good, but
the game wasn't good.
the purpose
The
and the ideology and the message of this year is totally, if you want to look at it from that perspective, maybe I'm just finding grace where grace shouldn't be given, but we have a message, okay?
Yeah,
No doubt,
for sure.
no doubt. Mykell, this is some dope conversations. We appreciate you, coming on and
hey, look, when y'all
blessing
call
us
me,
with this stuff.
just call me.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, you bringing it. You certainly bringing it. Let everybody know where they can find you at on social media, and talk about the podcast and what you got coming up.
Oh man, you can tune into your favorite sports podcast, Roaming the Airways, Rollin With Ramos. We try to do this every other Tuesday. Life be life, and we want to give you every week, but sometimes we can't. But we will go live tonight. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Rolling, ROLLING, like rolling down the street with Ramos. That's my last name. My dad's last name, RAMOS.
Yes, indeed.
Please follow, subscribe. We're gonna go live at 9 p.m. We go live from our YouTube channel. We go live from our Facebook page. If you want to follow me, because if you just like me, I'm Mykell Sade. That's MYKELLSADE, like the singer. That's my real name. I'm on Instagram with that name. I'm Mykell Ramos on Facebook. I'm Mykell Sade on TikTok. I'm Mykell Ramos on LinkedIn, Twitter. Hey, whatever you want to do, I'm her. Okay. I do my best to
tweet, man.
Huh?
I said you threw in the LinkedIn account.
I'm a millennial, okay? I still have the same Gmail that I had when I sat down and sat at the, how you had a computer and you had a desk with a computer. I remember my mother looking over to me and saying, "What do you want this to be?" And that was when Gmail started. So listen, I'm just going along with what I can go along. I don't really even be on X that much, I do all my work from Instagram and stuff like that and TikTok these days. But look, we have fun. We keep it informative. I'm a lot, but I'm not a lot. But I'm definitely going to keep it interesting for you. Shout out to the best co-host the girl could ever have, and Tristan Morris. He is the show, actually. It's really not about me. But get on this train, please. We, like I said, we keep it pretty interesting, and we would love to see you there. And all these other podcasts, we can unite. We're coming up on, in a week, we'll be coming up on 9 years. Tonight is episode 104. Hey, there's some people that say they didn't get past 5, let alone we get to 150.
That's a fact.
Let alone we get to 9 years. I'm so in awe. We had Freddie Coleman on a couple weeks ago. I've had Jamil on. I've had David Aldridge on. It's just, continuing to get that guest content out there and talk about the stuff that you guys want to talk about. And I am just appreciative that y'all allow me. I got 4 of these things, and then y'all let me allow y'all to see sports through my eyes, and I'm just appreciative of it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, look, we appreciate you. We will see you in these internet streets, and take care of yourself.
Hey, look, you around the way. What's up?
Yeah, sir. That's for sure. We gonna link up offline. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna make sure I follow you. You
literally not a guest in my house no more. I'm
That's what it is. I got
the invite, Maestro. You got
that's
the
what
invite.
it is.
There you go.
Trey, for Ken up north. Hey, look, you know who I'm calling.
No doubt. No
But
doubt.
no, I appreciate you guys for always thinking about me.
For
And
sure, for sure.
if I ever can
Absolutely.
be an injustice to you, I gotta. Speaking in my own words and being a woman of my own words, I gotta return the favor.
That's
So
what's up.
I gotta y'all gotta do double duty one night for me.
You know that. You know the
That no
handles.
problem.
You know the
No
handles.
problem.
Yep. Yep. We could do that. We could do that. Take care of
Um,
yourself.
Yep, go Commanders. We're
Yeah.
back on top, at least now.
All right. All right.
Have a good night.
Peace. All right. You
Yeah.
too. Peace. Peace.
Bye.
Yeah, that was dope conversations right there
For sure, for
with
sure.
Mykell, for sure. So she said something that that kind of reminded me as far as hold on, let me get this real quick.
How about say get that for me, player?
I don't think she here we go.
Dang.
All right. So she said something that made me remind me to bring this up. So
I didn't
this
forget.
this was this was during the I guess the pre-show of the Super Bowl, and they brought out former Super Bowl MVPs, I guess. So Jalen Hurts, Eli Manning, Tom Brady, Emmitt Smith, some of your, Jerry Rice, San Francisco, of course, they're gonna bring out Jerry Rice,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So this tweet came on my timeline, and it was from a Commanders fan. I forget the name to credit him with it, but he basically was saying, "Hey, NFL, like there were more teams that won multiple championships in the 80s and the 90s." And I read the tweet and I was like, okay, he's got to be talking about when they brought those Super Bowl MVPs out, because 49ers dynasty in the 80s, they get a lot of, they get a lot of love, they get a lot of pub. The 90s Cowboys, that dynasty, they get a lot of pub and all that stuff. But that tweet was more of a reminder that the Redskins won 3 championships, 2 in the 80s and then the one in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Do you think they don't like that era, the Gibbs era, they don't get that notoriety a lot? And I kind of understand why I guess they're separated from the 49ers
Right.
and the Cowboys. I kind of get it in a sense, but I think he makes a good point. Like, how about you bring back some of those, players from those
Mm.
great, Redskins teams? Where's the John Riggins at? Where's the Joe Jacobys of the world at? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
where are those players at? So I was curious what you thought about that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I agree that they are overlooked. That those that run that Redskin run. I don't know if
Mhm.
we could say Redskins. I mean, they the '80s. In the '80s, they was the
That
Redskins.
might have something to do with it, maybe the name change
I
and
mean, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not an excuse. You could just say
no, it's not. I
Wash.
agree, it's not.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree, it's
Because
not.
if you don't want to say Redskins, you can call them. You call them literally call them the football team for an entire year. Like like
Facts, facts.
and if you really wanted to be on it like that, you could just call them the Commanders. I mean, you and they changed the name, but all their history still goes with the Commanders. True. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess in the book, as far as that the books go,
yeah, no,
those are
absolutely.
that happen. Yeah, that's the Commanders. Those are the that's the Commanders' history.
Hmm.
So, like nah, but I agree that they're overlooked, and I'm sure that would. I don't know how much the overall football community feels about not seeing Art Monk or Gary Clark or
Hmm.
a Jim Lachey or Wilbur Marshall or what I'm saying, like I don't know how they feel about it, meaning the overall community, but I am sure that in the DC area, the DMV area, we would love to see Redskins, and I don't want to speak too much because I'm not a Redskins fan by no stretch of the
Hmm.
imagination, but
Yeah.
I'm sure, but it would be good to see Redskin, legends on at the Super Bowl situation. Daryl Green, who wouldn't want to see Daryl Green like that? That's a layup. Who wouldn't want to see Daryl Green?
Right. Right.
Um, you know what I'm saying? But definitely overlooked. And for what reason, I don't know. I mean, because certainly because certainly within the community, the 49ers have the bigger history and the Cowboys have the bigger history
Yeah.
as, being, winning teams, and, however you want to slice that. But it's not like you can also have, just like you had Jerry Rice, you had Joe Green. It's not like, you have to omit one for the other. So I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure why they're doing it that way,
Mm-hmm.
or even if they're doing it that way. I mean, maybe they reached out and couldn't get to him. I don't know, but
Right.
I definitely think that those teams, maybe specifically more for me, more the '80s teams are overlooked, and they should do something about that. But I guess, like, what's the sexy name for the Redskins? I mean, look, for me, but I'm from here, so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's easy to say Doug Williams. It's easy to say, John Riggins. It's easy to say Jim Lachey. It's easy to say, those. And I'm more of a '90s Redskins just because of my
Yeah. Yeah.
age, but
Yeah.
it's easy to throw those names in, and I'd be satisfied. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's somebody that, I'm sure that would make my dad happy, even though he's not a big football fan nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just,
But I guess more
yeah,
so I get his point. So like you're watching the Super Bowl, you're watching the pregame stuff as a, let's say you're 20 something years old, and you have no familiarity with the history of the team and the championships and stuff like that. I mean, the league is quick to throw the great Cowboys in your face. The
yeah,
league is
because
quick to
they're the more popular
throw
team.
the great 49ers in your, like, they're quick to throw those, the players from those teams out there, and rightfully so, because those were some of the great dynasties,
Yeah.
of that generation. But we
Would you consider the 49ers? I mean, I won't go down that rabbit hole. I was going to say, would you call the 49ers a dynasty? I won't go down that rabbit
I'm
hole. That's
like,
not
whoa,
necessary.
whoa. Right,
There's
right,
no need to go down that rabbit hole.
right,
But
right.
I guess, to your point, and I guess I think we all agree, is that we should see those '80s Redskins players more often in these types of situations.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody would be against it, unless it's something I don't know. I don't think anybody would be against seeing John Riggins, if you want to throw the most popular, I guess, one of the more popular, and certainly nobody's gonna have a problem seeing Doug Williams in the DMV area.
hmm
Um, you know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody would have a problem with seeing these Redskins players in
hmm
these
even on
Super
a
Bowl
national level,
settings.
right? And
Yeah, in these Super Bowl settings. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, your team. What was Lynn Swan? Did I see Lynn Swan out there on Sunday?
yeah, but
I think I
yeah,
did. Yeah.
yeah, but at the coin toss, I think it was. But that's a '70s. Like, he's '70s. Like,
Right, right. But more to the point, like, wait a minute.
like,
The Redskins have had a good,
you're overlooking from the 80 to 80, about 83, 84. Like,
from
you're totally
83 to
overlooking.
92, right? Because the first one
Yeah.
was 83, the last one was 92, when they had the one in
R-
between there. I mean,
Like
three,
87. Yeah, like 87,
right,
something like
right.
that.
Three championships within 10 years. I get it's not a back to back. I get it's not 3 in 4 years, but that team, I mean, all coached by Joe Gibbs, by the way, who
Yeah.
I also think gets overlooked as, one of the all time great coaches on a national level. That team, to me, deserves a little bit more notoriety on a national level, not just for nostalgic purposes, but just for the 20 something
Being a
year
good team.
old that, yeah, that, want to know, hey, I want to learn more about, what they did, 30 something years ago.
Yeah. Well, I think, as far as good, as strong as the culture it is in the city, I just
Hmm.
don't know. You don't often go to other places in the country and find a Redskin or a Commanders fan. That's just not,
Hmm.
that doesn't happen a lot. Like,
Yeah,
whereas, like this,
yeah,
like, Cowboys fans are all over,
yeah.
Steelers
49ers
fans,
fans all over.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't see it. I haven't seen a lot of 49ers fans in my travels. I mean, I don't act like I don't profess to have been all over the country a whole lot, but
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? In my travels, I've seen Cowboys fans for certain. I've seen Steelers
Yeah.
fans for certain. Um,
Those
You know what I'm
dynasty
saying?
teams, though, like, I've had to learn to accept this. Like even growing up in a place like New York, where you think everybody roots for the New York teams, but then you got classmates that are Bulls fans because of Michael Jordan and that
Yeah,
dynasty. You got people that root for the 49ers because of Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and the championships. Those types of dynasties bring on new fans. And
yeah,
and, and that's
yeah,
what you kind of have to accept regardless of where you live at.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
For sure, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Hey, how much information you have on this James Pierce Jr. story?
None. I saw it. I saw it, and I looked past it. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I looked past it because I was doing whatever I was doing at the time that I was scrolling social media.
Yeah.
But I never made it back around, and I knew you was gonna ask me, and I don't know. From what I gather, he was wilding, but don't give me the line about what happened.
Yeah, he was definitely wilding. Definitely wilding. So I remember that draft where Rakia Jackson, his girlfriend at the time, I believe. Rakia Jackson also plays for the Sparks in the
Sparks. Yep.
WNBA. They had a relationship. So they broke it off. I don't know when they broke the relationship off, but that happened. And so I'm just gonna read a little bit of stuff here that I got. Um I guess he started stalking her in some way. Then allegedly, like like he was chasing her, like in a car chase, actually T-boned her in the car and just started wilding out. And then police
Hold on. This is what
came.
just happened.
This is what just I think just happened. Yeah.
Okay, 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 okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, and it's weird, it's crazy because and I didn't watch the NFL honors at all, but I saw a snippet where his mom's got up on stage and spoke about his son and spoke about his character and all that, and he was in the crowd. Like they taped this stuff, I think maybe days before they actually air it
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So that probably was maybe Monday or something like that. They air the show Thursday, and then Saturday is where he gets arrested. But apparently, like, this type of behavior has really been going on for quite some time now. It's one of the reasons why Rakia broke it off, but he somehow kept circling back to her, and it just became this true abusive relationship. So he got arrested. I guess there was a bail posted for him. I guess they released him, so he's gonna do the whole court thing and and all that stuff. But yeah, man, it's sad.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a sad
Thoughts and
story.
prayers. I won't pretend like I won't give no opinions on that because I don't know the whole necessary story. So thoughts and prayers. If that's what you did, get your life together, bruh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You don't deserve that. She don't deserve that. Let's get back to making that. Let's get back to making the money, man.
yeah,
But thoughts and prayers to both parties.
yeah, yeah, for sure, man. I ain't got nothing else. If you don't have anything,
Yeah, I do want. I mean, I do want to throw it out there, man. Will Dawkins, man, of the Washington Wizards, man, our general manager, man. He's starting to turn the corner, man.
hmm.
I knew we were going to be in some Wizards purgatory
Oh
for some
yeah, we didn't
time.
talk about the Davis
Yeah,
trade,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. That's
I
right.
knew we were
That's
going to
right.
be in some bum. We weren't going to be a good team for a couple of years when he got the position, and
Hmm.
he just slowly making moves. I mean, I see all the graphics on social media that how Bradley Beal and Cal Kuzma turned into Trey Young and Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Um, we got Anthony Davis and Trey Young in the same regular season, y'all. I'm not saying this is a championship team all of a sudden. I know that Anthony Davis has no intentions on playing this year. He going to get healthy and get right for next year. If we can put this lineup, you know, of Anthony Davis and Trey Johnson and Trey Young and Koulibaly and Alex Sarr, and like if we can put this type of lineup together next year, hey man, we competing in the East if everybody stay healthy. That's it, and that's all.
So I guess the expectations is that they really like got it, like the Trey Young stuff. Like it looks like they're not gonna play him either the
Yeah,
rest of the year. So this
it's
is
reasonable. That's reasonable to believe.
yeah. And Knicks fans, y'all, y'all my folks, but y'all got to calm down. Like I'm not worried about keeping a draft pick if that's what this beef is about. I mean, if it's a thing that the league has to address as far as like tanking is concerned, then you got to let the league address that. I mean, I
Yeah.
think, quite frankly, the Utah Jazz have been getting a lot of smoke in regard to that for what they've been doing, this season. Because I've had some players. I've been doing lineups and stuff. Playing fantasy basketball, and what's the big man Nurkic? I had him in
Hmm.
the lineup a couple times one week, and they just haven't been putting him on the floor. Like he's not on no injury report, no
Hmm.
questionable status, no doubtful status, or nothing. Just he's available, but we're not gonna put him on the floor. And it's I haven't been able to win these matchups because of that. But it's I think the league is starting to recognize like like if homie's not on the injury report, he's got to play at some point. You know what I'm saying? So if he's not a DMP, like if he's not
Yeah.
designated that, then he's got to play. But you know they didn't designate him, and you got betters that are upset about it. So hopefully they address that. That's a separate issue. But
Yeah.
to the Wizards though. Yeah, y'all certainly making these moves, man. I hope it work out for y'all.
Yeah,
And
man.
obviously this is a long-term thing. This is
Yeah.
2026, 2027. Hopefully Anthony Davis still has something left in the tank. He's what, 31 years
Yeah.
old, I
Yeah,
think.
but I'm on it. Let me be clear in my stance. I'm
Hmm.
only talking about 2026. Like
Yeah.
I don't if this is the lineup that we put on the floor next year,
Hmm.
then we will be in the conversation in the East.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I don't want to make no big muscle fuss about it. I don't know or believe that Trey Young and Anthony Davis are going to sit there and be there for 3 to 5 years, and all of a sudden we're going to be putting a team around them. I think these are going to be situations where uh, that both of these guys, Anthony Davis and Trey Young, can put up good numbers in Washington, and then we can
Hmm.
get value for them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? But while we're, kind of building their stock up to get value for them,
Hmm.
um, yeah, let's be competitive in the East. What? Yeah, I love that. Let's be competitive in the East.
Yeah.
I'm tired of sitting here being quiet when NBA conversations come up on this podcast, and I just gotta be like, "Hi, I ain't wore a Wizards
Ha
jersey
ha
on no
ha.
podcast in years." It feel like so. Like it'd be nice to be able to come on here
Hmm.
and you talking about your Knicks, and I can at least have a conversation, a
Yeah.
competitive conversation. But
Yeah. Well, or really for that matter, we get to go to some of these games, man.
I mean, y'all smoked that boots last week, like.
Yeah, yeah. And I gotta tell you too, when that schedule came out, I said, damn, man, I can't go to no Knicks Wizards game this year because that was our
I
only
don't
trip.
get.
That was our only trip to DC. One. And number two is the week before the Super Bowl. It's the Tuesday before the Super Bowl. And it wasn't no way that I was skipping the podcast, for a Knicks Wizards game that we already knew what the outcome was gonna be.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
so
Yeah,
yeah, man.
but I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. We are guaranteed we're gonna have a top 8 pick in the draft. Hopefully, we get a good shooting guard, like a dominant shooting guard.
Mhm.
Um, and but even though Trey Johnson is like he's gonna be okay, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
like just something to round out the team. I'm looking forward to what this team is gonna look like in 2026 and in 2027. In the future,
yeah,
but mainly 2026.
yeah. Nah, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. And shout out to the Charlotte Hornets. 9 straight wins in a row before they went into Detroit last night and had some beef on the floor.
Yeah,
Your boy Isaiah Stewart,
of
coming
course,
off the bench,
of course.
doing what he does, man. So that's gonna be a hefty suspension on his part. But yeah, shout out to the Hornets, man. They
Yeah,
they in
shout out
the
to the
play in the
Hornets.
playing. They in the playing for sure. And there was another scuffle last night. It was Hawks and the
Uh
Timberwolves. It was
huh. Nas Reed.
Nas Reed and what's the cat name with the Hawks? I can't
I don't
pronounce
know
the
that
last
dude.
name.
Yeah, but I said I don't know that dude. So
Yeah,
those
no, I,
that
I
told
see
you.
I see his name. I just can't pronounce it, and I won't even try to. But
Well, the season
um,
started yesterday for me, so
right on
yeah,
time, man. Right.
yeah, for
Hey,
sure.
right on time, man. Got a couple good, scuffles last night. It's good. I think it's good for the league, though. I don't know about the Isaiah Stewart coming off the bench part. Like you know better than to do that. I don't get me the flashback and about the Knicks, against the
Yeah,
Heat in the late '90s. But yeah, bro, can't come off the bench, man. But hey, I feel you, bro. You just trying to protect your teammate and all that. So um,
yeah.
shout out to everybody tuning in. This was a dope show. I see Poe politicking in the IG live chat.
What
Appreciate
up? What
you.
up?
Appreciate you watching us. Thank you to everybody out there tuning in. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Continue to follow us. Click the like button. Click the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Also appreciate everybody tuning into the reels this week. We're just trying to put out the best content out there. Also follow us on social media. IG at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. And if you got questions, comments, you want to hit us up, the email is barbershopsportstalk1 at gmail.com. Love, peace, and happiness to everybody out there. Got a dope one next week. And as always, folks, mind your damn business.
Drink some water.
Oh yeah, we got him. Trey Frazier and Maestro Styles, we got one. Right back like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey shot with the blade, we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.